Good afternoon. It's Monday evening. SweeneyTV, Sean Swiss Sweeney, Sweeney HQ. We have an amazing Grandmaster barber coming on tonight. He is in his homeland of Scotland, and we are going to be interviewing the amazing Phil Jarman. But just before we start, sorry about yesterday, guys. We did have a scheduled interview booked with one of the Dallas legends, Anthony Montgomery, but unfortunately he couldn't come on for personal reasons. I have rescheduled it with him, but we've got Phil Jarman coming on tonight, SweeneyTV, Sweeney HQ. Phil, how are you, brother?
Good evening. I'm absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much for having me on this evening. It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege.
Brilliant, Phil. So we're just going to start getting into things now. Give us a brief introduction. I know, obviously, I've interviewed on the Four Nations before, so obviously a lot of people have watched that before, but give us a brief introduction for the ones who've missed out.
Yeah, so I'm very, very fortunate to be in this industry for many years. In fact, I like to say that I'm in the 35th year of my apprenticeship, which I absolutely love. Love being behind the chair. I've been so lucky to work with some of the best and actually some of the not so best, but I think I've learned from every single person that I've ever worked with, and I'm still absolutely loving every minute of it. So yeah, so it started many years ago, and right up to now I can see there's quite a few years still left in the tank, so loving it.
Brilliant, my friend, brilliant. So currently at the moment you've just landed in Scotland. I just want to just say I wish Scotland good luck in their last game, and I'm wearing the blue Scottish cap, SweeneyTV cap. You know, Wales are already through, thank God. But I just want to say thank you, Phil, because you have been pioneering Scottish football in the barber game.
Yes, indeed. You know, I don't know if I've actually ever told you, my dad actually is from Pontypridd, so I'm always cheering on Wales as my second team because the Scots aren't that great. And you know, over the years, I've followed the Scottish national team all over the world. I love my football, but you know, there is a rumour kicking around that I've put a cheeky bet on Scotland not to score a goal in the Euros at £50 at 12-1. So if they get a 0-0 draw tomorrow night, I'll be devastated. But you know, at the end of the day, I'll be a little bit richer.
Hey, listen. If you have, that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, they've got to qualify, mate, and you've got that third place there if you can win the game. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. And obviously, you know, me being down in Wales, we've had an amazing tournament, and you know, a few of our big stars have stepped up, and it's great to see. It's great to see, but like it's all about education, and that's what's happened with the Welsh football lot. Is they've been well educated, well, you know, trained, and we're going to talk about this with Barbara. My first question is education. Obviously, you know, you do your Phil Jarman education, and let's have a little chat about that. Then.
Yeah, do you know, I totally agree with you. I think education is absolutely paramount to the future of the industry, and also the present as well. I think with education, if you teach somebody properly, if you teach them well, you're almost giving them a gift that they can pass on to someone else. It's very transferable. Good education is transferable, you know, from the guy who taught me 35 years ago. He taught me the fundamental skills of our industry, and he taught me very well. He was a bit of a perfectionist, which that's passed on to me as well. And, you know, of all the people that I've had the pleasure in teaching, we'll talk about inspirations later. But yeah, I absolutely love the fact that you can pass that on to someone. And on the flip side of the coin, diluted education is something that is quite rife at the moment. I don't really want to talk negatively about the industry, but being totally honest, there's a lot of people out there training at the moment who don't really know the basics. So that's a bit of a shame, really. So that's diluting the industry, but it's all about good habits versus bad habits, I think, what we do. And I think good education and learning, if you are a barber, learning barbering techniques. And yeah, I absolutely love it, and it's such a passion being behind the chair. But do you know, I'm getting such joy at the moment from watching the young guns, and even barbers who have been doing it for many years, who are a little bit stuck in their ways. I've got the pleasure of showing them some stuff, and what I like to the way I like to come across as well, in a genuine way, that I'm only passing on what I've been taught. I think that's really important, because we can sometimes get a little bit carried away with ourselves when we're on stages and we're given the platform to teach people in our industry. But I truly believe that we're only passing on the great knowledge that we've been taught ourselves. So it all boils down to education from the start, but it's never too late to learn the proper way as well. So if you're stuck in a rut, don't worry about it. We have got the cure for you.
Phil, that's what I was going to ask you the question. Obviously, you know, when people start in the barbering game, they haven't got a Scooby-Doo what they're doing. So obviously the fundamentals of barbering, training from basic is key. But do you think some people have got natural ability compared to others? And that's maybe because they might have been barbering a past life or something, maybe. I'm just going to just put that out there for the viewers, because it's one of these questions which needs to be spoken about. Some people have got natural ability. I seem to be one of them who have had that. Young Joe, who works for me, has got a natural ability. And then I've got hundreds of people who I've taught over the years who haven't got that little key, which when you teach somebody, people get it straight away. Have you seen that over the years, brother?
Yeah, for sure. I think in life in general, I think there's a lot of people who have got more of a natural ability to grasp something more than others. But, you know, I think that the aim of the game is to keep it simple. It's to keep barbering simple, because it's not rocket science in what we do. It's an easy thing, you know. Can you hang on 2 seconds? Because somebody's knocking at the door in my hotel. Hang on one tick. Do not go away.
That's my double whiskey and coke coming, probably. Anyway, like I was saying before, Anthony Montgomery was meant to be coming on yesterday, and obviously, guys, really sorry that we didn't interview him. It would have been a great interview from Dallas in the US of A. He's one of the legends in the game, been in the game over 40 years. So Phil's back. How are you, Phil? Who was that?
Yeah, sorry about that. It was I've had some lovely dinner tonight in this beautiful hotel in the Highlands of Scotland, and they've just because I left the table to come up and do the live, they sent me a dessert up. So it was a guy doing room service with a big tray full of chocolate cheesecakes. I think it is, so very nice. But
hey, it was my triple double then.
So sorry, I wish I had some for you guys as well.
Brother, yeah, listen, no problem. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next question. So obviously, you're a fellow grandmaster like me, and yes. You know, you were awarded the title, and I just want to talk about that. Obviously, for British Master Barbers out there, you know, they've asked me to do a SweeneyTV British Master Barber show in the future, so we're going to be setting that up lovely. It'd be great to have all the grandmasters on. But Phil, yeah, let's have a little chat about that, bud.
Yeah, do you know, I think it was also it's a lovely thing to receive a grandmaster barber for all the years that I've been chopping away. And yeah, do you know, I try to teach the youngsters an important thing about being a master barber. So a master of who sits in your chair, or you could call it a mastery of whoever is the guy or the girl who sits in your chair. And it's all about, for me personally, I think it's great having that title, and I've got a beautiful plaque, and I've got it framed. I've got it in one of my dining rooms, and it looks amazing. But you know, for me, being a master barber is about taking control of your client. Yeah, well done, buddy. Well done. Shame I haven't got mine. You should get it in a nice.
I got my master craftsman on the wall there as well.
Fantastic.
Anyway, keep going, Phil.
Yeah, so I'm trying to encourage the youngsters in our industry that to be a master of your trade. It's all about adapting to whoever sits in your chair. You know, if you've got someone that wants to chat, you have a chat. If you're someone that doesn't want to chat, you just be polite and talk about their hair. And it's all about repeat business. And I think if you can get someone if you're new in a salon and you apply the basics that you've been taught, added with a little bit of personality and a bit of your own uniqueness to it, and you get them back in the chair, I think for me that is the start of mastering your trade. Because I've worked with some people in the past, and to be honest with you, they've got all the chat, and they're not great at cutting hair, but they still get people back in the chair to a certain extent. And then on the flip side, you've got some people who are fantastic barbers, but they've got no personality. So I think you've got to really bring a little bit of both to the table if you want to be the master of your trade. So it's something that I preach. It's something that I teach. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Is whoever sits in your chair is getting them back in your chair, and that's not through persuasion. That's through mastering the situation. So a master barber to me, to be a grandmaster barber and be given that accolade from the British Master Barbers is fantastic, and I really do appreciate the work that the Copelands do in the industry. But what I'm trying to teach now the youngsters is to be a master of whoever's in your chair, and that's a great start to becoming a master barber and then a future grandmaster barber after a few years. So that's important to me.
And Phil, you've got your own educational classes going on around the country where you're traveling about and so on. How's that going?
Yeah, do you know, it's incredible. I'm chuffed to bits. Obviously, it's helped a lot through social media. I'm quite booked up, and I'm hoping to do. I'm up in Scotland at the moment, as I say. I've got this few days off. In fact, I was meant to be in Portugal this week playing golf, and obviously with the restrictions, I decided to come and visit the folks. So I haven't told them I was meant to be in Portugal. Actually, they're just delighted that I'm up here seeing them. But I haven't told them that they're plan B. But yeah, talking about the education, though, I'm coming up to Scotland in September after the Shabbas, the Scottish Hair and Beauty Awards, which I'm a proud judge. So I'm going to be really looking forward to that. I think Simon Shaw's up there and Errol Douglas, and there's quite a few names up there. So it's going to be a fantastic show again.
I'm still waiting for my invite.
Well, listen, I'll put a good word in if Joanne Reed's listening. I'm sure she'll be sending you an invitation in the post. It's probably, to be honest with you, I've been to the British Hairdressing Awards and the Scottish Hairdressing Awards, and there's no bias, is absolutely huge. It's the biggest party. It's the red carpet event. Everyone gets absolutely dolled up to the nines. And it really is, honestly, it's an absolute privilege to be a judge. I think it's my 4th year being a judge there now and presenting a couple of the awards. So I'll be alongside, I think Adam Sloan will definitely be there again this year as well. So he's my partner in crime when it comes to standing at the bar. And
well, it's quite funny actually saying that. I was having a little chat with Rob the other day about Adam Sloan. I think I need to get him on the show. So when you next speak to him, give him a shout out for me.
No, for sure. Yeah.
And I just want to elaborate on the Shabbat. Like, what's it like as a judge? Like, people want to know.
Well, do you know, it's the standards of Scottish hairdressing and barbering and beauty is amazing. It is, it's a very fashionable place. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen, even the small towns, like up in the Highlands, we've got people from all over that are going into these awards, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a hard one to judge, and it is. I mean, the higher the standard, the harder it is to actually split hairs between some of these salons. But it's brilliant, and people come back year after year to get involved. And there has been some critic.
Phil, is it quite a tight judging system? Like, you're working on points, and like explain to people like how do you sort of judge these haircuts? So
basically, I'm luckily enough, I get to judge the men's stuff. Obviously, I don't do the lady stuff, and I don't do the beauty, nails, the blow dries, etc., etc. So what I'm looking for, it depends what category it is, but I'm looking for. I mean, obviously, the be all and end all is the cut itself. But I think if you really go that extra mile, and you can get a professional model, it's fantastic. I think that does add to the overall image. And also as well, it's always good to invest in a good photographer. I mean, if you took a photograph from your iPhone in the salon and there's a can of Iron Brew sitting on the shelf behind, even if the haircut's brilliant, you've really got to put everything into place. You've got to invest in it, and there's some great tips out there. There's some great tips for people who want to get into this is to look at the previous winners and to look at how they've done it. Not that I'm saying they want to copy their haircuts, but they just want to copy the overall image and the effort that goes into it. So yeah, it's a tough judging thing. It really is. It's a privilege to say, but it's a tough one. But it's great to be involved.
Brilliant. And like obviously when you're judging, it's got to be so stressful because you're looking at different haircuts. You've got to assess how they were cut in. You've got to assess how their style was, what type of style they've done. There's so many different aspects to it, and people don't seem to understand that. And again, that's when you get to grandmaster level, you get to understand the fundamentals. And then again, like photography is really important. Like you said, people taking photos on their iPhones, especially with the new iPhones, can sort of be really good quality, but again, you've got a fucking can of Iron Brew in the background, doesn't look very presentable. But like what I'm trying to say is that, guys, invest in a camera, get a decent camera, get a decent background, and actually look at how other artists are using photography to get ahead. And that's another question I want to speak to you about, Phil, is photography and getting the right angles.
Yeah, I think the great thing about photography, I mean, for me, the way I've always looked at it is, maybe a year or so ago, I used to think, I can do great haircuts, but there's something not quite right about my photography skills. And it's something that you want to embrace. If you're a barber out there and you want to be putting your images up, I think you've really got to do your homework on what is the best camera, what's the best lenses, the best lighting. That's so important if you want to get your photographs out there. I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with not doing photography, and there's nothing wrong with not going in for competitions, and there's nothing wrong with standing behind the chair 5 or 6 days a week and doing loads of cuts, whatever is your passion. But if you have got a passion for competitions, if you have got a passion for, you want to be in a magazine, I think it's really important to look at the people who are doing it well and copy them. Copy them. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, some of the best ideas in the world have been copied and made better. So if that's your vision, really, you want to get into that. Look at some of the best guys out there. I mean, I'm a massive fan of so many barbers doing well. I mean, Danny Robinson, he's a good pal of mine, and I love some of the photograph stuff Danny does, and he's right into his videography as well now. So he's one to watch, if you want to, and he's one that you can approach as well. You can message him, you can give him a call, and you can say, Danny, can you give me some tips? And he really will. So I just say, look at the people that are doing it really well, copy them, and make it your own. It's not that you're copying someone, that you're copying their image, make it your own, because the haircut is bespoke. It's bespoke to you. It's something, to be honest with you, even though I've been cutting hair for 35 years, and I'd like to say I'm pretty good at what I do. If you want to take it to that next level, I think you've really got to get that photography right. So that's something I'm learning. And that's why I like to say I'm in the 35th year of my apprenticeship, because it's all part and parcel, and it's moving forward and keeping your finger on the pulse on how the industry is moving as well.
Brilliant advice. And all I got to elaborate on that is that Tom Baxter helped me out with my camera. He showed me how to use it properly. He's done loads and loads of camera stuff. Photographers around him all the time. He knows his business, especially with his photography. He's probably with the most photography, his work in some of the magazines is unbelievable. He's helped me out a lot. I've still got a lot to learn myself. Like I said, photography is not my forte, but I'm learning. Exactly. Yeah. Brilliant advice. But going into achievements over the years, one of my questions, Phil, not just achieving awards, but achievements as in doing charity work, doing things for the local community, helping out other people in the industry. Let's have a little chat about that.
Do you know, it's funny when people talk about achievements or accolades, you know, because it's easy to get the like the trophy cabinet out and say what you've done and all this sort of thing. But achievements for me is, to be honest with you, it's helping other people and seeing how they're progressing. You know, I've got some good friends who have got barber shops and they're fairly new to the industry, and they're humble enough to come and do a bit of training with me in the salon, and there's nothing better than helping somebody progress and putting your hand out and helping someone up. You know, I was very lucky to be taught by an absolute genius, and that's what I can hopefully pass on to them. So for me, achievements is well, I know we'll talk about inspirations later, but achievements to me is really who you can help in the industry and who you can really and bring on and see them progress. That for me gives me a hell of a lot of joy about what I do, you know. So, but yeah, but you know, obviously,
community work.
Achievement. Yeah, well, do you know, during the lockdown, I was really lucky, really, to, you know, it's a tough time for a lot of people, being a barber with no work. So I managed to do a little bit of retraining in security work. I got my security SIA badge, so I went and helped at the vaccination centre, doing some security work, and it was brilliant. Working alongside the NHS as well was absolutely fab. I feel a bit guilty actually, because one of the magazines made out that I was doing it voluntary, but I was actually getting paid for it. So I feel a wee bit of a cheat there, you know. But it was brilliant. It's brilliant. Just, I mean, it's the first time I've done anything else apart from be behind the chair. So it was really good getting involved in the community and helping out the NHS as well. So obviously it's been a tough gig for them too. But yeah, I've done quite a lot of charity stuff over the years in the barbering game, you know, which is also good as well. There is an old saying, what happens to giving and there isn't receiving, and to be honest with you, that's absolutely spot on, you know. So I do recommend it. If there's any guys out there want to get a little bit more fulfillment out of what they do, is do some stuff for free. You know, some of the times I go up to our local hospital, obviously before COVID, and I do a lot of the old boys' hair in the hospital as well. And you know, the joy on their faces, a haircut can make you feel so good. And some of the nurses have said to me on some of these cancer wards, they said, Phil, the medicine that we give these guys is, you know, keeps them going, but a haircut literally gives them a buzz. You know, it gives them an absolute feeling of, you know, just wellness, which is absolutely, you know, what we're so lucky to be in this industry that we can actually make somebody feel special. You know, it's incredible. So that's a lovely thing that we can do. We've got the power in our hands to actually make somebody feel good about themselves, especially if they're not feeling great. So yeah, that's, for me, that's an achievement rather than having a trophy sitting in my cabinet saying that I was a good barber a couple of years ago.
Phil, listen, I'm telling you now, there's no greater feeling than seeing a guy who hasn't his haircut in ages appreciate the haircut. It's better than any award you could ever receive. It's such an absolute good energy that you have made that guy feel $100 million. And I've spoken to Grant Hackett, Matthew Guerin about it, and we've spoken about what, you know, we've cut homeless people's hair and changed their lives, got them off the streets, got them into work. You know, even the bloody butcher, you know, Sco and Barberia, he did that with a guy who was running around bars in Amsterdam doing all sorts of dodgy stuff. But because of his charisma, they got him in the barber shop, and he's I think he's got his own shop now, and he's doing excellent. So, you know, as barbers, fantastic. We have definitely got some sort of power with changing lives. It's good to see. I really, really appreciate what you just said then. But going on to shows, and you know, over the years we've had loads of different multiple shows. Let's get your feelings on it. You know, do you like the shows? Do you dislike the shows? I know you've been in a few of them. You know, my honest opinion, just from my point of view, is I absolutely love the shows. I haven't gone to a show where I haven't loved it. Even when there's been hardly anybody there, I have absolutely loved it because it's a barber show. And that's just me personally.
Well, do you know, I love shows as well. I'll just give you a funny story, really, which happened before lockdown. I was lucky to be invited out by City and Guilds to Mumbai in India, and to be honest with you, it was unbelievable. I've never seen so many people crammed in to watch a barber show, and they're all crammed in, and they were literally, I felt like one of the Beatles out there, because they were absolutely loving the fact we're from the UK and we're out there showing them some barbering skills. And they were so appreciative of what we'd done. And literally at the end of the show, I was out there with Adam and Chris from down the South End as well. And people were wanting selfies, they were wanting autographs. And I thought, this is wrong. I'm a barber. This is not right. So the next show we done, I thought, right, I've got to kind of bring this down to a kind of sensible level here. And so I said, how many barbers have we got? And all the hands are right up in the air. They're literally really enthusiastic. If you asked anyone to put their hand up in the UK, they'd probably say, I'm not putting my hand up. I'm not answering that. Do you know what I mean? They're all standing there with a bit of attitude. But they were so keen and so up for learning. And I said, well, listen, I'm a barber just like you guys. I'm not any like higher. I'm not any lower. I'm exactly the same. I stand behind a chair. I might be a bit shorter, but I'm still the same. I stand behind a chair, and I do customer after customer, and I absolutely love it. I said, the only reason I'm out here from the UK on stage with you guys in India is because I was taught by someone who was fantastic, and all I'm doing is passing that on to you. So if you can take some of this back to your salon, there's no reason, and if you can copy it, because they say knowledge is power, but knowledge is nothing unless you apply it. But if you can literally copy what I'm doing, and copy and copy and copy, you can be as good, if not better, than what I am. So, and there's no reason why you can't be on stage in a few years doing the exact same thing. So all we're doing is passing on the knowledge. But funny enough, 2 weeks later, it was Salon International at the XL in London. And I was going out, I think it was one of the HJ stages I was doing it.
I think I saw you there that year, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. And it was so funny because I was like having a little look behind before I came out onto the stage, and there's a few faces out there. There's a few people on Insta that have got loads of followers, and I was thinking, oh bloody hell, here we go. So I went out, and I started off by saying, listen, my name's Phil Jarman. I'm in the 35th year of my apprenticeship. If you learn one thing today and take it away with you, it's fantastic. If you learn 2 or 3 things, it's even better. I said, even if you're standing at the back with your arms folded, thinking, do you know what? I'm better than this guy. I said, that's not a bad thing either. I says, because, you're actually going to go back to your salon with a bit more confidence about what you do. But never forget the saying, everyone can sing in the bath, but not everyone can sing on the stage. And it's a saying that I'll never forget, because there's some great barbers out there. But I'll tell you what, when you're on stage cutting hair, it's not natural. It's not, some people, I was actually talking last night with my lovely girlfriend. We're talking about public speaking. She is a fantastic public speaker, and she does it for a living. And we were talking about public speaking, and I said, public speaking is one thing, but when you're actually doing public speaking and cutting hair in front of your peers, you're not just cutting hair, you've got to inspire them. And this is the thing, you've got to inspire people about what you do on stage, and it takes it to another level. It really does. So
See, Phil, with me, that's where I thrive. I thrive in that environment. I thrive more than I am in the barbershop, because I have educated and trained and been every single year since 2015. I have been on their main stages. And yeah, the first few years was difficult, hard, scary, emotional. It was difficult, but now I absolutely thrive on it. I've made loads of mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I thrive in that. And that's something which, like you said, it's not for everyone. That, obviously, like what you just said then, you've just gone on and explained to people if you take one thing away. Where with me, for instance, I want them to get the full package, because I've trained myself into trying to get my point across. I've worked with massive names on stages. I worked on huge stages, British Master Barber members room, running that room. Mate, it ain't easy, trust me, because I've got to manage all the barbers, I've got to do all the music, and I'm cutting it on stage myself. And then I'm on the main stage. So, you know, like for me, I've educated myself into thriving in that environment. And I just wanted to say to people who are watching this later on, what Phil said is exactly right and exactly the same. I back what he's saying, but I'm just saying that if you want that, if you really want that, you can thrive in that environment. And that's for the younger barbers out there who are watching.
No, definitely. I think it's a great, I mean, to be honest with you, I think being a trainer or even being on stage it's a massive privilege. But I also think, more importantly, it's a bigger responsibility. And Salon International, to me, and I'm going to keep it upbeat, I'm not going to be negative, but, you know, unfortunately, sometimes there's some barbers who are training people, making things more difficult. And this goes back to the Phil Jarman Academy. You know, I keep things simple. A lot of people say to me when I'm on stage, Phil, you make it look so easy. But guess what? It is easy. It is easy if you're using the right techniques. I can remember my dad was a painter and decorator, and I can remember my dad glossing the door, and you know they do it so smooth. There's no dribbles running down the door. It's just absolutely poetry in motion, if you like. And because he's using the right techniques, and I think the best hairdressers that I've seen in the industry, you know, some guys that I've seen up close and personal, from Guy Kremer to Trevor Sorby. You know, you talk about Vidal Sassoon, you know, the sections they make, everything is just smooth, it's lovely, and they make it look so easy, but it is because it is easy, and good techniques they make it simple, they make it lovely. But that's what I was saying about Salon International.
Just to let the SweeneyTV fans know, I actually trained with Trevor Sorby in his academy in Birmingham.
Oh, well done. Yeah, he's an absolute legend.
He actually kept me on as well, but I ended up fucking up, so.
That's a shame. Do you know, funny enough, he was opening a barber section to a salon in Floral Street in Covent Garden. And back in the day, it's 1999, I think it was, because I just bought a brand new Volkswagen Beetle. And it was the new, you know, the new Type 1, because I used to have an old Beetle back in the day. So this thing was absolutely amazing. And so he offered me the job to basically be in the salon in Floral Street. Because I live down near Gatwick Airport, down in Sussex, I thought, I'm going to be getting the train to work every day, so I won't be able to drive my car. So I turned the job down because I wanted to be driving my car every day. So that's probably a mistake that I made in the industry, because Trevor's obviously one of the best.
Wow. Well, listen, I'm going to elaborate on that question. We all make mistakes in the industry. Is there anything other than that you regret?
Not really, to be honest with you. I think take any advice to any youngsters out there who are going to be watching is just take every opportunity when it comes your way. Literally, I think the only regret you will ever have is not, you know, just being all in. And I think also as well is training. To go back to training again, is get on as many courses as you can. Look at people that are doing really well and emulate them, copy them. But yeah, I don't think I've really got any regrets in the industry, to be honest with you. Not at all.
I just wanted to have a quick chat with you about traveling around. Have you been anywhere overseas? Cutting hair?
Yeah,
other than India.
Everywhere really. I started off. Well, I actually moved from Scotland. I started when I was 15 and moved down to London, which was a great start. And then after working, I got the opportunity to go to Canada for a short while. So I went to Canada, and then I've been in the States.
How was that?
It was cool. It was good. Basically, I was really lucky. I got to work with some good guys out in California way for a wee while. And then I came back to you. So are you still there?
Yeah, still, yeah. So you come back to the UK after the US?
Yeah, and then I was down to, I had a little stint down in south of France, but probably the nicest place.
What was the south of France like?
Yeah, I was near Montpellier, Carnon in France. So it was
listen, you're a posh bastard, aren't you?
No, do you know, it's funny when I come back to Scotland, because my Scottish accent's not is as it was, if you like.
That's debatable.
I know. You know, when I come up here, they think I'm posh, but there's absolutely no chance. I don't even know how to spell posh, to be honest with you. But yeah, what was I going to say? The south of France was amazing, and I'm working with some really cool people as well. But the nicest place that I worked was in Bermuda. I was lucky to spend some time out in Bermuda, and then when I came back from Bermuda, I worked really hard out there, saved really hard, and then opened my first salon in Crawley, West Sussex, in 2003, 2004, and then shortly after opened a second one. So yeah, there's been a lot of traveling, and there's been a lot of learning from good people. And as I said, there's a lot to be learned from people that aren't so good. If you can get it all together and put it into your own methods, and also for teaching and passing that on as well, it's really beneficial.
Brilliant. And my next question, I'm going to move on to barber groups. There's quite a lot of groups going on at the moment. A lot of people are sort of sticking to their own group. They're only doing their own sort of little things. I'm trying to open things up. I want to work with everybody. I personally feel there shouldn't be any barber groups, as in, I'm not talking about branding, as in, you know, whatever, Sweeney's Barbershop, British Master Barbers, the BBA. I'm talking all of us as a collective. If you cut hair, you're in my gang as far as I'm concerned. What do you think about that, Phil?
Yeah, you know, I don't disagree with you. I think we can all learn a lot from each other. I think that's the important thing is growing within yourself and what you do. But unfortunately, I think it's human nature for many groups to peel off, and you know, people prefer to be with someone and people prefer to be with someone else. And the thing is, everyone's got an opinion on what the industry is, where it's going. So I tend not to. Don't get me wrong. I'm a proud ambassador for the Men's Hairdressing Federation. I sit on the board for City and Guilds, and I'm proud, like yourself, to say I'm a British Grandmaster Barber, which is really cool. And ambassador-wise, I'm working really well with Gamma at the moment. I tell you what, there's a lot of people who hadn't heard of Gamma probably this time last year, but you know, some of their stuff now is really, really out there. The new hairdryer as well that I just got is absolutely amazing. I've used the Dyson before, and this new XL hairdryer they've got is absolutely. I nearly said it's going to blow you away, but it literally would.
So, Phil, is that a plug? Listen, do you want me to get into Gamma? I'm more than happy to have a look. I haven't looked at their stuff yet, but I'm definitely more intrigued now, brother.
Sorry, mate. On this, that's the thing when you do Zoom on your mobile, people try and ring you, and you're like, decline. Yeah, Gamma's incredible, mate. It really is. It's something. It's a clipper company, to be honest with you, that I've been over the years. I've been sent Panasonic, Oster, loads of companies have sent me the stuff for free, but none of it's ever turned my head because I've always been a massive WAL person. WAL for me is my go-to clipper, the biggest company out there. They're absolutely fantastic. But when I got introduced to Gamma, it's the first thing that really turned my head. And you know, the entry range clippers, as some people use the entry stuff, and to be fair, it's good, but the X Ergo is the most powerful clipper out there at the moment. It is literally.
That's not true.
Oh, I don't know. What do you reckon is?
Well, I've checked the Babyliss FX Pro are the most powerful. They got Ferrari engine.
A Ferrari engine.
Yeah, they have, bro, which is
what's the RPM on it?
I think it's like 780.
780.
780 output, and I think the input is like 1500.
Yeah. The RPM on the
you're getting maximum power, and then when it literally cuts off, it cuts off completely.
Yeah, the X Ergo is 10,000 RPM, which is literally
RPM is way more than 10,000. I thought you were the electric. I think it's 1500.
Wow. Well, that is powerful.
On the Ferrari, they are the most powerful. If you check online, no problem.
Yeah, I'll have a little look.
They are. They
No,
are
I
unbelievable.
think it is
But
important to be confident in the tools you use, though. You know,
yes,
as I say,
that's that's what I was going to say. It's the hand which is using them and the technique in there. It's not so much about the clipper.
yeah, definitely. I think if you can have a nice kind of balance between what you're doing, and I mean, listen, you can have the most powerful clippers in the world, but if you're using them wrong, you're going to do a lot of powerful, messy haircuts. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I think it's having a little bit of a blend between the skill and having the tools that fit you. Because listen, it is a bespoke industry we're in. Whether it's the head of hair we're cutting or it's the tools we use, you know, there's some great scissor companies out there, from Mataki to Joel. There's some great companies. But everyone's got their favourites, and everything fits for each individual.
Yeah, that's right. And all I want to say to all the barber groups out there: stop arguing with each other, stop fighting with each other. Listen, let's all work together and let's work as one. And that's the British Master Barber's motto: let's work together. So let's work together. But inspirations, Phil. Your inspirations. Let's have a quick chat about that. We've got the last two questions coming up because I know you've got to go.
Yeah, definitely. So inspirations. There is some incredible talent out there. There's some people, some of the older guys from, as I say, Guy Kremer, for me, Trevor Sorby. There's some great guys. But the biggest inspirations I have got personally, and I mean this sincerely, is a lot of the apprentices that I've brought on throughout the years. They inspire me. There's a lot of people in the industry at the moment who don't inspire me. There's a lot of people that are just doing skin fades. There's a lot of people that are just absolutely all about being Insta famous. It doesn't inspire me one bit. You know, what inspires me is see people building a clientele, building their own shops, and building a good future for themselves because they are sticking to good habits. And that comes not just through cutting, that through customer delight. One thing I've got to tell you that I'm actually going to do a talk at one of the Modern Barber, one of the festivals coming up in Brighton. I've got a 45-minute slot there, and a little sneak preview of what I'm going to be talking about is customer delight rather than customer service. When I ask people, what's your unique selling point? Everybody puts their hand up and says customer service. Everybody, and you know, it's nice to hear it, but it's not unique. Customer service is not unique. Customer service is about opening
bog standard in our industry.
Bog standard. And you know, there's some great guys out there who are doing lectures on customer service, but that's old hat. That's rubbish. It's not rubbish. It's standard. Yeah, I mean, it's like putting the key in the door, turning the lights on, putting the music on, and that's customer service. But customer delight is what brings them back. So yeah, so my inspirations definitely are the youngsters who I've taught, and I've seen them go on to, you know, really do well in the industry because they're sticking to the right way. So they're all rounders, if you like. They're not just somebody that's just doing skin fades trying to get loads of followers on Instagram, you know. So yeah, that's my inspirations at the moment, is the people that are taking on board what they should and making a name for themselves in that way.
Well, again, that leads me on to my my 10th question. I've got one more after this. Shop aspects, you know, how do you run the shop when you're in the shop? You know, like, not forget customer service. We just talked about that. But the shop aspect, staff, running the tills, making sure that the media's right, making sure the image right, the brand's right, the shop's clean. So a little chat about that in work.
Well, I think you've got to lead by example. I think if you're working in a barber shop and you've got loads of staff in there, you've got to definitely lead by example. You know, I think the important thing for me is culture. You've got to create a culture in the shop that everyone's going to stick to. You know, cultures, you know, having a mission statement and the way you want to be. Our mission statement for our shop is where detail makes the difference. So basically, we try and live by that. So where detail makes the difference. So every single haircut walks out the shop, from even having loose hairs on the neck or the head, everything's got to be absolutely spot on. So I think appraisals are very important as well. You know, if you want to progress your staff and push them right to the limit, I think appraisals by, you know, keeping on top of what everyone's doing. I think obviously business plans as well is really important. I was listening to some personal development stuff the other day about business plans, and I say, unless you write it down on paper, it's just a wish. It's just a wish. You know, you could say, right, you know, we want this X amount, we want this and that, we're going to open another shop next year. Unless you actually write it down, it's just a wish. So I think that's very, very important that you write down a business plan. And also as well, look for potential business coaches. There's some great coaches out there. A couple of years ago, myself and Carlo had a business coach, and everyone was saying, why have you got a business coach? You know how to do it. But for me, it's like having a personal trainer in the gym. You know, you can go in there and chuck a couple of weights around, but if you've got a personal trainer, they're going to push you to reach the goals that you want, and it's their job to do that. So I think getting a business coach as well is definitely something that everyone should look into if they want to go to the next level.
Well, you just basically answered my last question, which was how do you run a successful business? But you just answered the question. So we've literally run out of questions. So I'm just going to throw a curveball at you. And Phil, what's next for Phil Jarman Education?
So yeah, basically, I'm really looking forward to taking this more like countrywide. I've got a gig in Wales coming up in the near future. And
Where's that?
It's out towards Pembrokeshire. It's actually.
So hang on, we got Sweeney's Barbershop here. Let's set one up here.
Yeah, well, we definitely could.
100%.
Well, so I've been in Cardiff quite often, so we can definitely get something sorted, and we'll have a chat about that after. Yeah.
Right, you'll love my shop. I got 2 steamers at the back. I got an education room at the back. I got a 3-seater barbershop with a waiting area. Obviously, you know, everything in the shop you've already seen, but
Fantastic.
You're more than welcome to come down, brother.
Thank you so much. And we'll make that happen 100%.
Definitely. But where else are you traveling around to?
So yeah, just around about the Midlands, I've got a few gigs coming up there, and I'm coming up to Scotland, as I say, after the Shabbos. I'm hoping to put 6 shows on after the Shabbos. So
one in Cardiff, obviously, my place.
Yes, and one in Cardiff. That'll be
where can people find all this information to, Phil?
So basically, just contact me via Facebook or Instagram. I've got a really cool website that's nearly finished. I was actually trying to get it finished before I came away, but it's nearly finished. But that'll be up and running soon. But yeah, definitely, if anyone's interested, through Phil Jarman on Facebook or the real Phil Jarman on Instagram, you can send me a message, and I will get back to them very shortly. But there's going to be a lot more stuff going out there. Once the website's complete, I'll be definitely pushing it. So, but yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting out there and doing it.
Brilliant, Phil. And obviously, this is your second SweeneyTV. How do you think I'm doing at SweeneyTV at the moment? Glad to have you on, brother.
Thanks for having me. It's an absolute privilege. I really appreciate you giving me a shout for it.
No problem. And like I said, you know, keep grinding. Give me a call. You know, we're on a group, so you know, just keep doing what you're doing, Phil, and enjoy the rest of your holiday, brother, in Scotland.
Thank you so much. Okay, take care.
Thank you for your time. Diolch yn fawr, Iechyd da iawn.
Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you, Phil.
See you later, bud. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, Sean's for Sweeney HQ, SweeneyTV. That was the amazing Phil Jarman live from Scotland in his little posh hotel. Big up Scotland now. Make sure you win your last game. I want to see you guys get through. And we are going to be going next week. We've got some amazing barbers coming on. I'm really sorry about Anthony Montgomery. He's meant to be on yesterday, and he would have been a massive interview. He's a great guy. We've had him on the Super Bowl. So make sure you check out the Super Bowl, which is on the page. And make sure you check out the 4 Nations with Phil Jarman the first time. So this is Sean Swiss Sweeney, SweeneyTV. We are out.